It is one thing to be kidnapped and after some time be released or rescued, but for those who have been in captivity for 10 years now, what do you think might be running through their minds? Would they still be hopeful or they would have accepted their fate?
Yeah, indeed, insecurity has been a challenge in Nigeria, and one of the recent flights we've had is kidnapping of uh, school children. And basically, once school children are kidnapped at their tender age, they go through serious psychological trauma and they go through some sort of pain and at the hands of their abductors. So when they are kidnapped, we don't even know the activity the adopters subject them to. So basically, we are only after their safety and their freedom, and that's why most of the time the security agents are very, very cautious with the approach they take in rescuing these individuals. So basically, in the minds of individuals who go through this, I can just but imagine their mental state. It's traumatizing, and even when they are being freed, the bringing them back into the society, integrating them into the society will need some level of care and some level of total care to bring them back into the state, into some good state. Basically, our security system in Nigeria, we have been faced with several challenges, and the educational sector is suffering a huge setback because they're targeting the future. The children are the future, and when children are being scared of going to school because of happenings of kidnapping, then we are indeed experiencing a future that is bleak. Because once we don't have an educated populace, then we're having a populace that will be compounding problems for the country in the future. So basically, I can say that kidnapping, especially with the event in Chibok, it's really traumatizing. And those girls, it will take some strength from them and inner strength and also love around them to make them come back to even their former self or do better than when they were kidnapped.
Okay, so yes, we're talking about 10 years of promises now being made to rescue the children from captivity, but then a lot of parents feel that the government has actually failed them. 1,680 children have been kidnapped after the incident in Chibok in 2014. Do you think that the government could have done better when it comes to rescuing these children and ensuring that these kids are protected from violence and abduction while they're in a place of learning?
Yes, primarily the function of the government is to ensure that lives and properties are secured. That's the primary function of any government. And I believe the government will not deliberately want to put its children outside just to make them insecure. There are models, there are structures set out to ensure that their safety is guaranteed. And for these 10 years, we've seen a new trend in insecurity where children are being kidnapped so as to make the situation and school children being kidnapped so as to make the situation totally heightened. Individuals will no longer have the interest of going to school, and they are doing this in regions where the accessibility to school is low. And then imagine those that are even willing to go to school, going to school, and then they are being discouraged because of the prevailing security situation. I believe the government and the security infrastructure we have on ground, I believe they are better placed to ensure that this we don't have repeated occurrences, and then we stop it entirely and ensure that those that are already in captivity, we find ways on how uh, we can we can bring them out of captivity and then reunite them back to their families and to communities. I believe the
So,
government's priority, number one priority, is to ensure that each child, not only the child, the parents also do not have any fear for sending their child or their ward to any school to make sure that they their children are safe, and then they are at peace whenever the children are in school, and they are not always anxious or having some, or they are worried because their children are not within their view. So
Okay.
I know that the government have. Yeah, thank you.
So Silas, I'm actually glad that you are a pharmacist. We know that some, if not all of these children have been subjected to sexual intimidation, violence, other harrowing experiences. Some have been turned into child soldiers and all that. But despite this, we've seen cases where these children have said that they will not leave their abductors. It's some sort of a Stockholm syndrome where these kids feel they are safer with their captors rather than being rescued and being reunited with their family. Is there a way we can recalibrate their psyche? Is there a way we can recalibrate their mental faculty and try as much as possible to work with their psychosocial well-being to see how they can begin to see life away from this and see how their lives can be better?
Yes. Yeah, children are basically whatever we feed into them, that's what we get from them. So definitely these young ones, when they get into captivity and then they're exposed to several things, most of them are sexually abused, most of them are exposed to hard drugs, and then you see the incidence of dependence to those drugs, and then the incidence of tolerance, whereby the system of the individual, you have to go to a higher dose in order to gain the same excitement you get from that particular drug. These individuals, these adopters, expose them to several substances, and then they make them, because this substance at the initial stage will give them some euphoric feeling. And so because of this, they feel there will be that sense of development, sense of, if they feel that the adopters care for them, whereas they don't, in the long run, they are ruining their lives. And then those loves will come in, and then they feel safe with the adopters because they are providing some substance that they are already hooked on, and these substances are addictive. And then they make them, because most of them will be used as child soldiers, as you rightly said, and most of them will be sexually abused, and then they needed them to act in a way that will be read and will not be on the normal scale. Now, making efforts to recover these individuals, there are several ways once these individuals are brought back from the adopters,
okay.
The first step is to...
Yes, go ahead, please. Just about 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the first step is to ensure that they visit any psychiatric hospital, and then they will have some mental counseling, take out some information from them, and then we see how, if anyone is already hooked on any substance, we go through the tappering skill, we tapper on those substances and ensure that they are rightly placed back, and then they recover from whatsoever they are on. I believe that if we have a very strong interactions with these young ones, we'll be able to redeem and save their future.
All right, Silas Francis, thank you so much for talking to us. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much, sir.